Our second question of the day comes from YouTube user Donovan Finley 8131. Donovan Finley 8131 asks, will Republican voters ever wake up to the fact that Republican politicians don't do anything for them? I wish I had like a good answer for that. Yes, we're going to hit that threshold where these Republican voters open their eyes and they see like, wait a minute. You've been lying to me for decades. I'm done with you. And believe it or not, like those stories happen. Those stories happen every day, every single day. Another person wakes up in this country saying, you know what? I'm a Republican, but these Republicans aren't doing anything for me, so I'm switching. Right? Millions of people switch their voter registrations every year. So on the other side, you also have Democrats that wake up and say, you know what? I'm feeling a little fiscally conservative today. I'm going to switch my party registration. But on the Republican side, I think it's a very obvious point that Republican politicians don't do anything for you. And Republican voters don't seem to care. And I think that's the bigger problem. It's not that they don't know these politicians aren't doing anything for them. It's that they don't care that these politicians aren't doing anything for them. Because most of the time, these Republican politicians get these people to vote for them by, scapegoating another group. Right now, the big attack is on the transgender community. Prior to that, it was the immigrants. Before that, it was the Muslims. Before that, it was the black people. Whoever the enemy of the day is, the enemy du jour, is going to change constantly. But what Republican politicians do is they go out there and they say, hey, you know how your wages have been stagnant for 20 years? You know how you're not getting ahead in your job? You know how you can't afford things at the grocery store? You know why that is, right? Well, it's because of these immigrants coming over and taking the jobs. It's because we're letting transgender women compete in women's sports. It's because the lazy welfare queens out there, as Ronald Reagan put it in his attack on the black community in the United States. There's always an enemy out there that's making your life bad. So when these Republicans go to the polls, like, well, this person says, if I vote for them, they're going to get rid of the problem. And then that Republican politician, once elected, spends their entire career talking about, they're not letting me fix the problem. I wanted to do it, by God, and they didn't let me, so you got to put me back in one more time, just one more time, and I'm going to get it done this time, I swear to God. And then, of course, it doesn't happen. They make the same promises. The people fall for them. They do it again, and the cycle continues. But what I thought would have been an eye-opening moment, and I think for a lot of Republicans on policy issues it was after the 2017 tax cuts went into effect. Right? Like at the end of 2017, Trump's first year in office, Republicans had the House and the Senate. They passed that massive tax cut and they swore up and down. It was all over the media. You're going to get a raise. Every one of you in the country, you're getting a raise. They hyped up those bonuses that companies like Walmart and AT&T were giving out to people. But then very quickly, everybody realized that their paychecks didn't change. In fact, in many instances, people's paychecks went down. So you did have a lot of Republicans at the time, and there were plenty of stories. I talked about it over at Ring of Fire. Republicans said, no, this is BS. Like, I don't agree with trickle-down economics anymore. I'm done with it. These people are lying to me. I thought that would have been a bigger eye-opening moment for these Republican voters. It opened a lot of their eyes. And to this day, 6 years later, I know it seems like yesterday, but my God, 6 years later, they still overwhelmingly reject the concept of trickle-down economics, even though the Republican politicians continue to push it. So maybe that's what it takes. Maybe every, 6-7 years, Republicans will finally wake up and see, wait a minute, this policy is garbage. So it may take a while, may take a couple generations, but it's not impossible. It's just a very, very long and exhausting process. Hey, everyone. This is Aspen. And did you know that for the low, low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share. But again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.